Let's have a conversation.
I want to take this time to thank everybody for their support of myself, Mark, and the music and mental health movement. Please take this time to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get notified of when I drop some more great content. Thank you.
What's poppin'? What's happening, everybody? Good morning. Happy Friday. It's Friday. I hope that your week is going well. This has been an interesting week for me, as this week is my last week of not having to do my 9 to 5. It's been tough to think about, but we're here. That's why I did so much this week, because I'm like, I have the time still now, but I will not have that time like that coming up soon. If you're wondering about the glasses, what are they called? Blue light glasses. They gave them out yesterday at the View. I just wanted to see what they look like. I think they make me look kind of scholarly, but unfortunately I can see the glare on the screen. So I'm going to go ahead and take those off. So the reason I'm so late with this recap is that I'm not able to watch the challenge episodes on Wednesday nights, unfortunately, because of other obligations. And so I usually watch them first thing on Thursday mornings. Hey, Andrew, how's it going? So I usually take a look at them first thing on Thursday morning on the MTV app, which sucks, by the way. I don't care. MTV app is one of the worst apps there is. And it's like there's so many commercials. If you have to pay for cable to have use of the app. So you're paying for cable, and instead of just letting you just watch the show through like a normal app, there's like 8 million commercials in between there. And on top of that, they still haven't even, as of the last time I looked, they still have not uploaded episode 15. They have not uploaded episode 15 of Ride or Dies. So I had to see it elsewhere. So that's the reason why the show aired on Wednesday, and instead of doing my recap on Thursday, I ended up doing it today on Friday. This is going to be a pretty quick one, so I'm going to hop right into it. So last week where we ended was finally getting to know what happens with this You Live or Die by your Ride or Die twist. TJ kept saying that all season. You live or die by your Ride or Die. And I was saying last week that I saw in one of the Facebook groups that I'm in, somebody suggested that it could be the case where at a certain point, they're going to have a tournament to come back into the game, and potentially the Ride or Die that is still in the game could end up leaving the game with the other person. Could end up leaving the game with their Ride or Die. They could end up leaving the game with their Ride or Die. So Fessy and Mariah ended up being the first team that won the first leg of the Battle Back tournament, for lack of a better terms, because I know they called it a Battle Back tournament that they had on Big Brother. Can't think of really any other term for it, so I'm calling it the Battle Back tournament. So it was basically, there's going to be two competitions. One is going to be amongst all three of the teams, and then the next is going to be against the remaining two teams. And then one of those teams stays in the game and one of them goes home. So as I was saying, Mariah and Fessy won the first leg. Mariah and Fessy won the first leg of this Battle Back tournament, and they're back in the game. So now we have a showdown between Casey and her brother Kenny, and then we have Aneesa and Jordan, and they do a challenge classic called Not So Fast. Now, Not So Fast is physical, but it's not really physical. It's more strategy. Not So Fast is more strategy. And I remember we saw CT lose infamously, I guess you could say, to Jay. And we saw him win a couple of them. I think he won one against, could have been Darrell, but it's a strategy game. It's a strategy game. And we've seen that in addition to being a beast at physical, that Jordan is actually pretty much a beast at strategy too. Like, it just amazes me. It just freaking amazes me every time I see this guy doing these challenges, and he's so smart and he's just so good. So I'm looking at this Not So Fast challenge, and I'm looking at the two teams, Jordan and Aneesa, Casey and Kenny. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't really know. I think Casey and Kenny are at an advantage just because of the fact that despite Kenny not being the best athletic competitor or anything like that, I just thought, just simply from a stamina standpoint, just like everybody was saying in those confessionals, simply from a size and stamina standpoint, that they were going to be at an advantage. I felt like, obviously, if Jordan had like a really fit partner, then it would be like no contest. So basically, I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, it basically depends on the partners, because I think if it was a race between Jordan and Casey, I would give it to Jordan, but it wasn't, because it's a partner challenge. So it was basically who did the best between the partners. So I'm looking at it. It's hard to kind of see who's in the lead of a Not So Fast. But as I was watching this thing, I was saying to myself, if Jordan finds a way to pull off a challenge of climbing and moving and going through an apparatus with Aneesa in, the current shape that she was in, this guy, I mean, what more can I say about Jordan? We always talk about Jordan's personality and stuff like that. That's the reason why, as good as he's been, he was never a fan favorite back in the day. But I always thought that he was the best competitor in the show history. And I'm not the only person who has said that. Johnny Bananas has said that. Wes Bergman has said that. He has the respect of all these young up and comers. Horacio talks about how much he respects Jordan. Fessy talks about how much he respects Jordan. Everybody is just like, Jordan is Superman. So, I mean, credit to Aneesa as well, because Aneesa, I'll tell you guys something. There was a point in time when I was 240 pounds, almost about 240 pounds. For a guy my height, about 5'8", it's pretty overweight. So when you're that size, it's hard to do the things that Aneesa is doing. It takes heart, because you're literally pushing your body to do things that you are not trained and prepared to do. Like a Jordan comes in there, he does hella training. He's done marathons, like he does all kinds of stuff to mentally and physically prepare himself. Aneesa, I don't know what's going on, but she has to depend a lot on the mental part. But shout out to Jordan again, because Jordan, this season, instead of just yelling and being like, you suck, like he probably would have done back in the day, is like, I want to see you win. I want to see you make it to the final. Yes, at times he's a little harsh, but you kind of have to be. And she was kind of saying in the confessional, like, weirdly, it motivated me. So Jordan and Aneesa, I feel like, pulled off an upset in taking out Casey and Kenny. They took them out. So now they have won part 2 of this battle back thing, and this whole ride or die thing seems to be over. And as far as what we can see, it's just going to be partners, the original partners that you had until the end. Casey, can you go home? Nanny is obviously devastated. It was a pretty sad moment. You know, Casey is like, your mom is watching you and she would be proud of you. Nanny's tearful. They show a couple of things after this. There was Fessy and Mariah having a conversation and just basically saying, we're going to wipe the slate clean. But I got the same thing out of Fessy that it seems like I normally get, where whatever he says feels like it's just self-serving. So he's basically like, you've said some stuff, I've said some stuff. We didn't get along for whatever reason, but we're good. You know, if we make the final, we're competitors. I don't think he said that, but Fessy is just thinking about Fessy. So that's nothing new. I think Bananas genuinely cares for Nanny, but I think it's also clear that he's like, in this game, I don't know if Casey being out is going to leave Nanny checked out. So they had this heart to heart. He says, whatever capacity I can be a shoulder to lean on, or, you know I'm not Casey type of deal, but I'm here whatever way I can. Forget the game. I think he's thinking both about the game and about her personally, but that's okay. I mean, I think that there was times in the past where that type of conversation might not have even happened with Bananas. So I do see some growth there. So we get into this daily challenge. I did skip over a few things, but this is not going to be a really long recap. It's just a quick, pretty super short one. So we're getting into this next daily challenge. I didn't really totally understand the challenge. I just know they were in this bus, and I guess they had to solve this puzzle while the bus was moving them around and all that. It looked cool, but it's not exactly my favorite daily. It wasn't that interesting to me. Again, in a very opportune time, Bananas and Nanny end up winning and getting power. Now, for some reason, TJ didn't say, this is the most power that you'll ever get. This is the most power that you'll ever get in this game, so you don't want to lose. Because this was actually, well, okay, I guess it's not necessarily more power than the whole picking the two teams thing, but it was still significant because you pick the team that you save and you pick the team that's going in. So you're getting to pick a team to be safe, and you're getting to pick one of the two teams that goes into the zone for the elimination. So to me, that is a significant power that they won. Here's where we can have a little bit of a debate. And I'm interested to know, once everyone sees this, what you're going to say in the comments. Bananas and Nanny choose to save Fessy and Mariah. And I'm like, the thing that I didn't like is Banana saying, this is the best strategic move. I don't really know why he's considering it the best strategic move. I believe personally that he just wants to save them because of his relationship with Mariah. I believe that that was really the main reason. You can say that adds to his strategy in terms of maybe trust factor, but aside from that, I don't think that he was working with Fessy, and I don't think he was specifically aligned with Mariah, like in terms of alliance, aside from the fact that they were doing whatever they were doing. So I thought that was more personal than anything, but it is what it is. It is what it is. They saved Fessy and Mariah. So Fessy and Mariah are happy, obviously, because they go from having to compete to stay in the game last week to now being safe and not having to go to the zone. They can relax for this time period. So all the other teams that you don't save have to go into the interrogation. We have Horacio and Olivia, and Johnny. It basically seems like Johnny is like, I'm not necessarily going to throw you guys in, but I'm not necessarily not going to throw y'all in. And Horacio is kind of laughing at this point because he's sitting there like, I know that I'm always an option. I know that nothing I'm going to say is ever going to not make me an option, so I'm not even going to campaign for that. And Bananas is kind of like, well, even if we do pick you, we're confident that y'all are going to come back. I think that, I don't know, man. It's hard for me to say who I would throw in if I were in that position, because I would want Fessy in a final more than I would want Horacio in a final. Honestly, I think Horacio would do much better in a final than Fessy. I'd be so scared of having him in there. So I think that I would kind of want Horacio and Olivia to go in against Fessy and Mariah. And I think that in that particular limb that they had, Fessy and Mariah would definitely have taken that. I love Horacio, but Fessy's a big dude. Even though I know some of you guys are going to say, well, Jordan, well, I'm going to get to that. I'm not going to skip ahead to that. But that's just my opinion. But anyways, they end up making their direct vote. Oh, I guess there was no direct vote. I think I'm mistaken. They didn't make a direct vote. Correction on that. So there's one safe dagger, and then the team who pulls the safe dagger chooses who to save. Oh, yes, I was right the first time. My notes are kind of jumbled today. Sorry, y'all. So Amber and Chauncey get into the deliberation, and they basically say to Nanny and Bananas, like, hey, we want to go in. Chauncey was like, I feel bad about the fact that I DQ'd in the other elimination. So we've decided collectively that we are willing to go in and prove our merit. But it seems like, and I agree with what the cast is saying, to me, it seems like they kind of did the math and were like, we're likely to get picked anyways. So let us control our narrative and use this strategically instead of just like waiting and wondering and worrying. And Bananas and Nanny told everybody that Amber and Chauncey volunteered. They all felt the same thing. Like, they're trying to take your power, they're trying to take your thunder, and they're trying to do the political thing. But anyways, they do end up honoring that request. And Amber and Chauncey get thrown in. The safe dagger is picked by Horacio and Olivia. And I'm thinking that they are going to save Jordan. I say specifically Jordan because of Horacio's relationship with Jordan, but he gave his reasoning, so they saved Devin and Tori. And I'm like, what kind of voodoo is Devin putting on all these people that they just don't care? I guess maybe part of it is like they fear Devin less in a final than they do some of the other people, most of the other people. But Devin's pretty good in finals. He's not. It's not like he's the worst finalist that's ever lived. So now we get this matchup. I forget what the challenge is called, but the one that you are back to back, tethered together, and then they changed it up a little bit. Instead of just you have to walk to the this was like a variation of the Bananas backpack, which they do sometimes. They alter like old games that they have, like making the double decker hall brawl with the thing that they're pushing instead of just running into each other. So this is an alteration of the famous bananas backpack limb. And the alteration is that they have to run and push down 3 pieces to their particular puzzle or whatever, and the other person has to do the same. So Aneesa versus Amber. I love Amber. Amber's a great competitor. Great, underrated, scrappy. Obviously, she's won a final. She's very good. She's won multiple eliminations. She's very good. But in these certain challenges, the weight differences matter significantly. So obviously, I knew right away, no matter how hard she fights, Aneesa has a huge weight difference on her. So she's just going to pull her around. And that's that. Aneesa could just, and if Aneesa got tired, she could just literally lay in the sand. Amber's not pulling her. Like, you got to be some kind of, I don't know, beast, world champion to be able to make up for that kind of size difference in this kind of challenge. It's almost like when Big Easy went against Wes in Hall Brawl. Like, what was Wes going to do against Big Easy in a Hall Brawl? So really, this came down to, and I'm going to get to these comments, but I'm not going to be on here that long. So I'm just kind of getting through the recap. So to me, it was really going to come down to Chauncey versus Jordan. So I never count Jordan out. I never, ever count him out. But I did say to myself, look at Chauncey. Chauncey's a beast. Chauncey's a big dude. I'm like, Chauncey has not impressed me overall. But he did have an elimination with Amber. I can't remember if it was with Amber or by himself. But anyways, he was in an elimination earlier this season at some point. And it was the same kind of like digging in the sand kind of thing. I think he might have done that with Casey. And he was a freaking beast. But I never count Jordan out. But I did say that Chauncey has an advantage just by being a bigger dude. Like, he looks like he's pretty significantly bigger than Jordan. So then Jordan starts breaking down this play-by-play of his strategy. And I was like, if Jordan actually pulls this off. If Jordan actually pulls this off. So his strategy was to, I forgot the first part of the strategy. I would have to watch it again. But, you know, he found his way to knock his first thing off first. And then he was like, instead of going against Chauncey, I'm going to let Chauncey get to his barrel. And then that puts me closer to my barrel. And I'm going to use that momentum because I'm going to be closer to where I need to go than he needs to go. So he knocks over the second one first. Chauncey knocks over his second one. Now we're closer to Jordan's third barrel. It looked for a minute like Chauncey was simply going to overpower him, but some freaking how Jordan wins. I felt similarly watching Jordan do this as I felt when Jordan was on that challenge against Josh, where they had to stand on the log or whatever it was. And then it was like a thing that they had to do with shaking the ropes. And I was like, Jordan only has one hand to do this. How in the world is he going to win? And then he came up with this strategy of acting like he was almost about to fall off, wait for Josh to tug the rope, and then let go of the rope and let Jordan fall off, let Josh fall off. Jordan has never had the best strategy in terms of politics, and we're still seeing that this season. Jordan is not great at politics, and he doesn't even try to be. Jordan does not try to be some political champion that works around strategies and deals and all this stuff. Jordan is just like, I'm going to be myself. If you want to throw me in, I'm probably going to win and come back. And then I'm going to throw you in. And I might throw myself in against you. That's how Jordan plays the game. It's just amazing. And we don't talk about this much because of the fact that he's been such a villain for most of his seasons. Jordan has a disability, and he'll never use that as an excuse, but he has one. And it's just amazing watching the way he competes and the fact that he never really looks like he thinks he can't win. Even if the challenge is not catered to him at all, he never looks like he thinks that he cannot win one of these challenges. And the truth is, there's very few that he can't. He has taken some L's. He's definitely taken some L's, but they are few and far between, and people feel hype when they take him out because he's one of the best to ever do this. So Jordan and Aneesa come back into the game again, taking out Amber and Chauncey. Amber and Chauncey are out. Casey and Kenny are out. We're dwindling down. And now there might be 2-3 episodes left. But this was a really good episode. It wasn't a lot of drama in terms of what happened in the house this week, but this episode was another episode for the Jordan highlight reel. Amazing, amazing. That's all I can say. Good morning, Patricia. Which move were you in shock with? Amber is underrated. I agree. Horacio and Olivia are rookies of the year. My rookies of the year, male and female, if I had to pick a team, that would probably be my team. But if I had to pick individually one male and one female, mine would be Horacio and Nurys. I freaking love Nurys, and I hope that she keeps coming back. Did you see that Jordan filmed the challenge workout with Rachel from the challenge? Yes, I did. I didn't see the workout, but I saw on Instagram some pictures. And is it just me or the elimination? Yeah, but that's just the way that it goes. Like any one of these challenges that involve pushing each other or being strapped together and all that kind of stuff is always going to be, it's usually going to be advantage to the bigger person. But we did see 2 upsets this season in those kind of things, which was Horacio taking out the other Johnny, the rookie Johnny, in a hall brawl when the rookie Johnny had a pretty decent, size and strength advantage, it looked like. And then Jordan taking out Chauncey. Darrell lost this elimination to CT. Yeah. What's your opinion on why a lot of cast members don't like Amber? My opinion, jealousy. That's it. I don't think it's complicated. It's just I think that people are just jealous of her. And they kind of clicked up against her from the beginning. Even her big brother people, the big brother people who are supposed to have her back, they never really embraced her. And I can see, I think she has said this, but I can also see that Amber's kind of an introvert. So they spun a narrative the same way they did with Taylor on Big Brother, like, oh, Amber just thinks she's better than everybody. She's not really talking to everyone and interacting with the group, and she's not like bubbly. If you watched her Big Brother season, she was the same way. She was quiet. She was kind of quiet and to herself. And on the challenge, people are taking that and running with it. It's not like she ran into the challenge and was like, "I'm Millionaire Mitchell," like what's her name? Horacio picking Devin. Yeah, I was surprised by that. I was surprised by that, and I kind of wanted Devin and Tori to go in there, but at the same time, this was an epic matchup. This ended up being an epic matchup, and I'm referring to Jordan versus Chauncey. Jordan is a guy that you can never count out of any game. You can never count him out of anything, and he'd be a person who I was most intimidated to go up against. I would never want to go up against Jordan in an elim. I would avoid that at all costs. I'd rather go against any of the other challenge goats that they call a goat, except for maybe a prime CT, because I would just be worried that he would just end my life. But in terms of people who play the game just from an athletic standpoint and a strategy standpoint, I wouldn't want to go against Jordan, because Jordan can figure out a way to win probably 8 out of every 10 games that he plays with a combination of physical and mental. And he formulates these strategies on the freaking spot. It's not like he has time to sit here and plan, like, oh, I'm going to do this. I mean, I know some of the challenges repeat themselves, but like this one, for an example, he knows he's seen this kind of thing before, but not the whole first to 3 to knock down those whatever those things are called. He just figured it out. So I really just want to end this by, shouting out Jordan again. Jordan is a legend. Jordan is a GOAT. He's somebody that everybody respects as a competitor. He's what Fessy wants to be. Let's be real. Jordan is what Fessy wants to be, even though he's like, Jordan is like me and we're the same. No, y'all are not the same. Jordan is next level. Jordan is somebody who actually, the people who are really, really at the top of the game and running the game in all the classic prime years, they wanted him out, and they acted like it was just because of his personality, but no, they also feared him as a competitor. Bananas included, Wes included. They've said it now. They weren't saying it obviously at the time because they didn't want to lose their competitive edge. They didn't want to lose their competitive edge against him, but yeah, that's the way it went. So I'm excited to see how the last maybe 2-3 episodes, however many is left, play out. Who makes the final, how they do in the final. We got a good cast. And I think that this season has been a really good season, as I have been saying week after week. Thank you all for tuning in, and we will talk later. Have a great one.